What would you say if I told you that someday crazy people will rule the world? In 1926, Dr. Lee D. Forrest had the following to say about the future of television. Though technologically and theoretically television is feasible, commercially and financially it is an impossibility and a development of which we should waste little time dreaming. In 1977, Ken Olsen, founder of DEC, was quoted as saying, "There is no reason why anyone would ever want a home computer." What did Instagram see that Kodak didn't? Because Kodak at its peak had about 140,000 employees when Instagram with only 13 sold for about $1 billion. And you know what's funny? The scientists at Kodak actually helped develop the digital camera that would eventually take them out of business. So why, when that was developing in potential, was the company still developing pictures? Something that you created ends up becoming one of your biggest opponent. Mine, looking back at the timeline, that must have been one hell of a Kodak moment. Ha! HMV, one of the world's leader in its field at its peak, eventually filed bankruptcy. What would you expect? I mean, I don't condone piracy, but one phone call to my friend Jesse, and in about 1,000 rupees and under 6 hours, I could probably have the whole HMV on a USB. And they still had the audacity to sell CDs in 2013. See what these people had in common? None of them were crazy enough to see the future. Because as logical people, we become stuck in our ways, reluctant to change, function the same when there is nothing to gain, forgetting that all skyscrapers were once just a slab of stone. Google was once just a scrap of codes. Actually, when you think about it from a perspective that's logical, the only true path to our dreams is to perceive what others deem impossible. The Wright brothers believed that humans could fly, which in 1905 would have sounded ludicrous to educated individuals like you and I. Because only crazy people embrace what others seem to fear, standing on the corner with the sign saying, "The end is near." I can bet you right now there is a kid in an apartment somewhere creating some kind of an app that most of us have only seen in Star Trek. What's the difference between the way people will see him and the man that's barely clean on the park bench, mumbling to himself in the past tense? People call both of them crazy because they see what others don't. But aren't you sick of staring at new opportunities when you could be exploring them? Don't you keep on getting that "I wish I had thought of that" feeling? I mean, why be stuck in the past when you can hop in the DeLorean? Because madmen will one day rule the world. Because they have the vision and intuition rather than persistence in tradition, decision and inhibition dictated by intermission still waiting to be commissioned. Every day is a new idea that becomes probable. So rather than seeing all obstacles, that's your opportunity to do what Angelina and Brad did and adopt as many as possible. Everything you saw in Star Wars and labeled insanity is now a potential reality, well, except for the lightsaber. But I do have this one idea with the broom and a handle and a laser, so any investors listening to this, perhaps we could discuss that later. But all I'm saying is, don't be afraid to shoot for the stars, even if people call you crazy. Because I ain't never seen anyone survive a war with a gun on safety. Peace.